It's the Cooper and Anthony Show.
All right, we're here with Chad O'Connell, and I'm very excited because he owns Whisper Bidet, Cooper.
I know we've been talking about you behind your back. We've been talking about Whisper Bidet for a couple of weeks now because I have a couple of friends who are obsessed with their Whisper Bidets. And I've been hearing about it for so long. And it's like one of those things that your friends talk about and you're like, okay. But then I investigated and I said to Anthony, oh, you know the Whisper Bidet guy. Like I need information firsthand, like not from my stupid friends who love your product, by the way. But, I don't trust them like I trust you. So I like to go to the source.
The one thing I want to know is you're sitting at home in South Carolina where this all began. And what came into your head to say, you know what, I'm going to start a bidet company?
Well, actually, I am from South Carolina. I spent the first 20-something years of my life there. Then I went to Georgia for 2 years, 1 year in Atlanta, 1 year in Savannah. And then I moved up to New York City. And that's where I started my advertising career up there. And it was in like 2016 that I was listening to a podcast from one of my favorite comedians who hilariously ranted about bidets. And I just impulsively bought one. And it blew my mind. I grew up like everybody else in South Carolina and the country who wiped their butt with toilet paper their whole lives. And I tried this bidet thing and it was fantastic. Sorry for that slack noise popping off right there.
No, we know you're busy working. Like you're at work right now. Well, we are too, but you're at real work.
But I tried like a random Amazon bidet and it was fantastic. The water felt good, but I was an art director by trade and I hated the way it looked. I didn't like the installation experience. I didn't like the way it looked in my toilet. It broke in 6 months. And then I got another one. About a year went by and I had been evangelical to everybody, like bidet, it's amazing. And I had reached a point in my career where I'm just like hustling nights and weekends, pouring all my passion into making other people's products and services famous through my job. And I was like, I should invest in myself. And I was working at Ogilvy at the time in New York. And I came in January 3rd after the holidays and I put in my 2-week notice and I was like, all right, I got to figure this out. How am I going to start a bidet company? And I spent all of 2017 investing my personal money and all of my time into like figuring out how to start a company from scratch.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing. And it starts with a product first, obviously, right? I mean, it starts with an idea or a product. I mean, obviously a product because you have to get the product that you had in your mind, like when you were trying these other bidets. And let me just say, by the way, I've noticed that bidet is a lot like bidets in general are a lot like CrossFit. People get really into it and they can't believe you're not into it, and they spend all their time trying to explain to you like why you should be doing it too, which is what I love about bidets in general. But so it obviously starts with a product. So how did you find somebody who makes bidets?
Yeah. I grew up in South Carolina, paycheck to paycheck, like in a household that just kind of grinded their life through paycheck to paycheck, didn't love their job, working towards retirement. And I had no aunt, no uncle, no parent who like had ever started a business. So for me, it was like, this is impossible. I don't have the money. I don't have the know-how, I don't have the skills, I don't have the connection. And that was the thing holding me back for such a long time. And then once I finally got over that mental, like self-limiting thought that like, if I sit down and figure this out, I can figure it out. And I just made a list of everything that I needed to do. And the internet is a powerful tool. Between blogs and YouTube, there's an abundance of information out there. And I just one by one, just kind of lit up the unknown and grinded through the learning curve and step by step started putting together the pieces. Really, the first step is just writing down the vision. And that's what I did in the early part of the year. And by the end of the year, I had launched Whisper Bidets and I did some of my own PR and I got on a TV show, the Untitled Action Bronson Show, which was a total crazy mess because I'm nervous in front of the camera and Action Bronson was drunk and high and I was not ready for it. But yeah, once I put that vision down and I started going through the steps, I found a manufacturer, and that was a whole process to weed out all the potential people and then the people you can actually work with and visiting them and meeting them. Yeah.
With a bidet, does one still have to use toilet paper, or no longer.
Well, without the bidet, I don't know about you, but it can take many, many wipes to get to clean, especially if you're a man with a hairy hole. Let's be real.
This is the second time this week we've talked about hairy holes, by the way, on
True,
this show.
yeah, it's a hot topic here at the Cooper and Anthony Show.
It's a real thing. So, but when you use the bidet, you go to the bathroom, you turn the water on. There's a little bit of a learning curve there where you master the subtle art of cleaning your asshole with a stream of water. And
right.
then all you're doing really is dabbing dry at the end of it. So I geek out on using as few squares of TP as possible, which is usually for me about 2 squares of toilet paper. So when everyone was freaking out during the pandemic, like I buy like a 4-pack once every 6 months. It's no thing. So it's a much better experience because you're not relentlessly wiping. There's no irritation, and you feel shower clean.
You just used yours at Halloween to insult people who don't give you candy.
Exactly. I set it up.
Yeah, that's the only thing that TP should be good for anymore. But I think it's very interesting because so my family's French and grew up in well, actually my grandmother wants you to know she's Parisian. She's not French. Okay. But, they grew up, there was always a bidet. And I remember when they first came to Brooklyn, here in Brooklyn, she was like, there is the bidet. Like, she didn't understand. She was like, wait, what's wrong with my bathroom? I think it's amazing that this is something that Americans are like first discovering. Friends of mine are just talking about it, whereas Europeans, everybody has a bidet. It's weird that you don't have one.
Yeah, a lot of the big cities, even in Europe, they started moving away from bidets, but there are a number of countries that the bidet penetration rate is through the roof. Spain, definitely one of them. Japan. When I was traveling through South America, a lot of countries had what they call a bum gun, which is more like the water sprayer on your sink mounted to your toilet. So there's that version of it, which I found really difficult to use, to like grip a sprayer and get all that back there. But yeah, there are a number of countries that have figured out water cleaning is the way to go.
Mm-hmm.
So in yours is easy to install.
Yes, that was probably one of the biggest pain points. I think once you've decided, okay, I'm ready to squirt water at my butt, then the next kind of mental hurdle is, can I install it? And for me, I also identified this early on, where it's like, when I first got that bidet, I was like 26 or 7, and I had never turned off the water outlet on the wall by my toilet. Or, so just the idea of installing something on my toilet was like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this, but it's really just fear of the unknown. Because at the end of the day, it takes about 10 minutes. I personally can do it with my eyes closed in about 5 minutes, but you're just screwing the little tiny twisty caps off of the toilet seat, sliding the bidet, putting the seat back on. And then again, you're twisting the water hose off the toilet, and you're adding this 3-way water splitter. So it's drawing fresh water from the water supply that delivers water to your sink when you brush your teeth. It's like clean water, and it goes right on pretty quick.
I once had a boyfriend that said to me, you're not as clean. You're not as clean. But first, he was trying to advocate for baby wipes, which I live in New York City. You can't use those here because they clog up we have a big problem with that. So he said, listen, if you're not using those, you're not as clean as you think you are. So I think people in general are not as clean as they think they are. And the bidet seems to be the solution, right? Because the
bidet is the way. I mean, I don't care if you're dry wiping or wet wiping your booty. You're not getting every nook in your cranny if you're wiping. The wet wipes, they're expensive. It's funny, when I first launched the brand, the first blog writer we had, he opened up to me and he was like, I have had a rash on my butthole for years. And it was from the wet wipes he was using, because to turn a hard tree into a wet, damp cloth requires a ton of chemicals. And even though they may be like natural, they claim natural, it's like there's still a lot of processing that goes on. So it can irritate the skin. They're not as good. In New York City, you're right. Like what you're referring to is fatbergs. If you've never heard that term before, pop that baby into Google Images.
Yeah, no, I know they're huge in London. Yeah.
Yeah, huge in London and New York City. There was some headline about, I think, New York City spending over $15 million a year just to clean the fatbergs out of the sewage treatment plants. And it's mostly because of all the wet wipe usage.
Disgusting.
Yeah, they banned those in my building. I can't use that. That's why I must have a Whisper bidet immediately.
So
Yes.
how do you use it? You sit down, you do your business, and then you turn the knob to how powerful you want it, or how does that work?
Yeah. So sit down and you just twist the knob beside the bowl and it rinses your hole, turn it back off, and you're done. That's the simple version. The subtle art form of it is when the water pressure there's a water pressure control knob. So depending on the water pressure of your house, whether it's high or low, depends on how far you might turn the water pressure knob on the bidet on. And then once you start getting into using it, you'll notice that I like to do this in extreme detail. I wrote a blog post about it once, but it's like you might slightly, rock slightly forward, rock slightly back. You might slightly clench or release your sphincter a little bit just to get that water in every cranny, but you feel super clean. It's not going into your body. It's cleaning the outside.
Right.
And yeah, it's like scratching an itch you've never been able to reach before.
I love your blog, by the way. I love. I never thought of like the sitting wipers versus the standing wipers.
Oh
I
yeah.
thought that was an interesting.
There's standing wipers?
Are you a stander?
No, people do
No,
that.
I didn't know there was. I thought that was like a joke, but then I read it. I read your blog, and I was like, oh, there's like 21% of people stand and wipe.
Blew my mind the first time I heard about it. Just like when you're in the bidet business, and you go out on a first date or you're talking to friends, inevitably that topic's going to come up, and it can definitely dominate the conversation, but you learn a lot about people's, what's going on in the bathroom. And as a bidet founder, I'm an open book. I'll talk about all the things. I talk about too much, but yeah, once I heard that one of my friends was a stander, it blew my mind.
Wow.
And I had to do a survey on that. I actually ran a paid Twitter poll, sitters versus standers, and it blew up. It got so much feedback, and then Twitter banned it. They
What?
banned.
Why?
I don't know. I guess they don't like pooping, and I have not been able to get my Twitter account reactivated. If anyone from Twitter is listening, please help me. I have been trying to get my Twitter account back online. But yes, standers. I don't know. You know what it is? It's people learn how to wipe their butt by their mothers and fathers as children. And if their mothers and fathers were standers, then they raise their kids as standers. And it happens behind closed doors and nobody talks about it. And then there you go. I actually had one friend that told me his boyfriend was a sitter. He was a stander and he converted the sitter to the stander. So looks like standers, we got an extra person on our team.
Wait, so you were a stander?
No, I was a sitter.
Oh, okay, just want to make sure.
I am a sitter. I have always been a sitter.
Yeah. And so when you found out your friend was a stander, how was the conversation when you told him you couldn't be friends with him anymore? How'd that go?
I kicked him right out. No, I made a case. I made a case for sitting, and it took him a couple of years, and he finally came around.
So how bad do you hate it when you go to a hotel and it doesn't have a bidet?
Did you travel with one?
I hook them up everywhere I go. But when I find myself, like this last Thanksgiving we just had, without a bidet, I find myself accidentally reaching for a bidet that's not there. And I had one customer leave a review where he referred to it as like a phantom bidet. Like he went to his parents' house and
Losing a limb.
you get in that you are used to using the toilet and then you're used to reaching beside you, and then when it's not there you're super bummed out about it. Or people going back to work now, it's just like, and then there's not a bidet there, it's a bummer. So I do think trying to get them installed in more toilets is going to be the mission.
Oh, right, like companies.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, that's the next.
Yeah, I gotta tell you. Yeah, so they have gender neutral bathrooms. I would like some bidet options as well. Like I feel like that should be on the list of harassment video stuff. Like make sure you don't say disgusting things to me because I'm a woman, and make sure you have a gender neutral bathroom. And I also would like a place if I want a bidet. Yeah.
And plus, hey, they're going to save a lot on toilet paper.
Yeah.
You're going to use like 80% toilet paper. And then even the argument where it's like, well, you use more water. It actually, it requires, I think the number is something like 35 or maybe 37 gallons of water to make one roll of toilet paper. Because again, you're turning a hard tree into a roll of toilet paper. So like net, like to clean your butt, it's like a cup of water with the bidet.
So now you talked me into it. I got to have a Whisper bidet. What's my next step?
Next step is to go to whisperbidets.com. And bidets is the tricky one. I talk to people all the time and they're like, your company, the name of your company is what? Bidets? They haven't even said the word before. So it's BIDETS. If you spell it without the S, you'll still land on the same place. But yeah, if you go to whisperbidets.com, there's running a holiday special right now, 15% off holiday 15. And it ships out pretty quick and probably 3 to 5 days. And then
it's under $100 too. Like what a bargain.
And there's 15% off. And then, you can have it on your toilet in 10 minutes and then you can know what we're talking about.
Just say it.
It's the Cooper and Anthony Show.
You know how I tell you all the time that the world is going to end?
Yeah, you've been saying that for years. So far, it hasn't.
It's going to end soon.
Okay, why now?
It's going to be it. I think we have maybe 2-3 months, and then we're done.
Okay.
Because the new hot thing now is to make robots. So every company's making a robot and all that. There's a new type of robot now that they made, and it's kind of like an organic robot.
That doesn't make any sense. There's no such thing as an organic robot.
If you use DNA from an animal, it's kind of organic and it's a robot at the same time.
I don't know what that means. It doesn't make sense.
Okay, so here we go. This guy's going to tell you about the new robot thing.
It is the first ever living robot that was just created by researchers in the US. This is it, the Xenobot. Under 1 millimeter in size, it's unlike most robots in that it's not made of any plastic or metal, but entirely of organic cellular material.
All right, it's a centimeter.
Turn around.
It can move forward, turn around, go in circles. It can do things, think on its own.
Okay.
So they said, hey, this is kind of cool. We made something that can move around all by itself.
And it's tiny. It's only a centimeter.
It's only a centimeter. So they said, oh, this is great. Look at this. We should pat ourselves on the back. We made something. So a couple of days later, after they had this thing on a slide and they're watching it, it starts to reproduce.
No.
It is now reproducing.
On its own?
On its own. It figured out how to have sex and how to reproduce, and it makes more of it now.
What?
This is how every movie begins.
This is crazy.
It spins in circles.
Sometimes spin in circles, and if you flip it on its back, it will flip itself back over. It's a human-made robot, but it's alive. Now, you might be asking, what exactly is a living robot? And that would be a perfectly reasonable question, especially given the fact that it's being deemed a brand new life form that has never existed before.
And it's multiplying.
Okay, so this is basically The Matrix, Blade Runner, and 2001: A Space Odyssey all mixed up together. This is all like Robot Uprising.
Did they not watch a movie? Are these scientists, do they not have Sci-Fi Network? Nothing good can come of this. I love that they're like, oh, watch the little organisms. They walk, they move. Oh, crap, they're having sex. Oh, crap, they're giving birth.
I can't believe it's reproducing on its own, like asexually.
Right. No, it has to find another one. So it's not.
No, it doesn't. No, like a seahorse. I mean, there's plenty of things out there in the universe that can reproduce asexually.
No, I'm saying these things, they get together and they have Hoochieberg sex, and then they multiply.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Just, do they make two of them?
Yes.
Oh, I thought you only said they made one of them.
No, they made a couple of them.
So when you make the internet, when they made the internet, it was specifically for porn. Anything that we do these days is like, oh, we made a little phone. Good, a smaller place for me to watch my porn.
Mm-hmm.
I love the fact that they made these little creatures, and the first thing the creatures thought is, how do we fuck?
They
Like,
say,
even the creatures.
right, they can think on their own. So they say, hey, maybe someday we can grow an arm out of this creature or something. We could do something useful for it. No, they're having sex. That's
Right,
what
like
they said. I need to get off. That's what the little organisms wanted to do.
Right. Oh my. See, that just shows how deep in our DNA sex is.
That it's in a new organism that has never lived before.
Right. It's made out of DNA, and it's in the DNA to reproduce. That's crazy. And if they do make an arm out of it, can you imagine what that arm would be doing?
There was what was that Silicon Valley episode where they finally gave a monkey an arm. A monkey had his arm cut off, so they made a monkey arm out of robot arm. What's the first thing the monkey did with the robot arm?
Jerk off.
Jerk off. So
Of course.
he's like, thank you for the arm. But no, this is going to be, I give it 3-4 months. These things are going to rule the world, and they're going to kill us all.
What? So wait. So what are they doing about it? Are they going to kill them? Are they going to
Stop it! Stop it! Stop it! It's spraying with a hose. Stop! No, I don't think
Are
you
they
can
are they
stop
separating
it
them? What are they doing?
I
What
don't
are they
think
doing
you
to
can
stop
stop
this?
them now. I think they're just they're going crazy. They're going to multiply. They're 2 makes 4, 4 makes 8. It's going to be out of control. It's going to be
This is
168 billion before Christmas.
Okay, this is one of those things where right now we're talking about it and laughing, but in like 200 years from now, those things are going to be doing a radio show.
And laughing at us.
Laughing at us, being like, they thought we weren't anything. Now here we are. We've taken over.
Yeah, we went back to this one radio show that we found 200 years ago, and they were making fun of us. They were the first 2 people that we killed. We found them, and we killed them, and now we're ruling the world.
No, I just meant they're going to be ruling the world. They're going to be doing everything they can do. Some will be presidents, some will be tweeting, some will be cleaning up the subway, and some will be doing a radio show. I just mean like they will be the new humans.
Yeah, so then another company is going up to people and say, hey, can we have your likeness? Because we're going to put that face on a robot. So now they have real like robots that move and stuff, and they're using your face to put on the robot to give it, where you can smile and laugh and all that. That's not going to be good either. So these are the 2 robots that are going to destroy each other. It's going to be a big war between the robots that look like us, and these little Pac-Man robots are going to kill each other and destroy us in the meantime.
It's so crazy, all these movies that they made back in the day, that'll never happen. And things keep happening. It's like, wow, that movie was really, like we talk about Idiocracy all the time, but how that's happening. Of all the movies that we watched that thought that'll never happen, it was always the robot uprising ones that I thought, that's never going to happen. But yeah, we're at the beginning of it right here, I think.
Yeah,
we should let's start like a new religion now so that we're already honoring and worshiping the robots. So when they do take over, they'll be like, oh, those 2 are cool.
I should buy ilovezenobots.com. Because they can see that I'm on their side.
That's right.
So they're called Xenobots.
2 unusual headlines caught our attention, 2 very interesting yet frightening stories. The first one was about self-replicating robots. Robots that can reproduce, create copies of themselves, make babies like humans do. Robots. The second story was about a tech firm which is offering money to people to have their faces imprinted on robots to create what they call robots with human faces.
Yep.
My favorite.
It's the Cooper and Anthony Show.
Excellent choice.
Everybody has been very excited for the new movie about the Gucci family called House of Gucci. This is the one it's a Ridley Scott film. It's starring Lady Gaga, Adam Driver, and Jared Leto. And, we've been following the whole thing along, like when the first shooting and they released the first stills, and it was like, there was Lady Gaga in this snowsuit with this big hat, and there was Adam Driver looking like weird with the glasses and his hair to the side. And we were like, oh, they're really in character. This movie's going to be awesome. So the first thing we hear is that Jared Leto, from people that have already seen the movie, Jared Leto sounds like Mario.
Right.
Mario Kart, like from, hey, Luigi, like that, really
Like a
cliche.
Cliche
Yeah, like
Italian.
a bad Italian accent. That's the first thing that we heard. Now, what's come out is that the actual family, the Gucci family, who this movie is about, are really not happy. They hated it. They got like an early cut of it. They are so angry about this movie. They are considering suing Ridley Scott and suing the production company.
Yeah, how can you even call it Gucci without them suing you?
Well, because the story's out there. It's a famous story. In fact, like right now, the ID channel is running the story of the Gucci family and what actually happened. And the character that Lady Gaga is playing, Patrizia Reggiani, she's in the documentary on the ID channel talking about her experience and talking about her story and what happened to her. So here's the thing they're upset about. First, they're upset that the production of the film did not bother to consult any of them before writing Aldo Gucci, the president of the company for 30 years. This is the one that Al Pacino plays in the movie. Yeah. So they say that he is portrayed, the whole family is portrayed as thugs, ignorant, and insensitive to the world around them, which they said is really not true. They were incredibly generous and not insensitive, and they were a lovely family and all this other kind of stuff, who ended up killing each other. They also didn't like that Patrizia, the lead, basically the Lady Gaga character, was portrayed as like a woman who finally made it, this male-dominated, male chauvinist society. That's really far from the truth also. So they didn't like that either. Like, they took a lot of Hollywood license with their lives. When the story of this woman hiring these hitmen to not allegedly, she was put in prison for it, to kill her husband, is a real story. Like, there's enough of a story there. You don't need to come up with all the other BS.
I know, but it's not a documentary. It's a Hollywood movie. So they're going to take liberties with the story itself.
Right.
So if it was a Gucci documentary, then I can see them having a problem, but it's not. It's a movie.
Most Americans are not going to go back and read all the books about the Gucci family. They're not going to watch the documentary on the ID channel. They're not going to investigate themselves. They're going to watch this movie and think that's how the Guccis are. That's how they were. And, think about if it were you. Look, I'm not defending the Guccis. They made a shit ton of money.
Yeah, and they still are.
They're still making a ton of money. I don't feel bad for them at all. But I do see their point in terms of the fact that the movie is about them and they weren't asked. Do you know what I mean? Like, when you're a public figure, tough shit. Like, one day somebody's going to make a movie about Lady Gaga and she's not going to have any say in it whatsoever.
Right.
If you make a movie about somebody, they're not going to tell you the real story. They're not going to tell you all the crappy shit they did. They're going to make it sound like it's all somebody else's fault. They were the victim. Their life was so fabulous. They're not going to tell you the real stuff. And that's going to be a very boring movie.
And that's why Hollywood does what they do to a movie. And they change it to make it a movie.
Right.
And they're a family that charges $1,200 for a T-shirt.
Right.
The thing I like about it is they say there's a whole 2-minute sex scene with Lady Gaga.
Yeah.
So now I want to watch the movie. Before I could care less to watch the movie. If it comes on my TV, I'm going to fast forward to the good stuff.
Yeah, and she's going to make it hot because she's really good at, like, if you've ever seen her perform, if you've ever seen her on stage, she's really good at, like, she's very in touch with her body. She's one of those few singers who has the gift of acting. Like, she is one of those great performers that comes, like, once in a lifetime. Like, Adele's an amazing singer, Taylor Swift is an amazing singer, neither one of them can act. Lady Gaga, whatever it is, she has all of it. She has the charisma, she has the looks, she has the talent. She is one of the few, like if we still had the studio system, they would glom onto her immediately and pay and just keep throwing cash at her. You know? So one of the other issues that the family had was that Patricia Gucci was saying that they have stolen her identity and stolen the identity of the family to make a profit. So Ridley Scott talked to the BBC and said, yeah, no. You have to remember that one Gucci was murdered, another went to jail for tax evasion, so you cannot be talking to me about making a profit. As soon as you do any of that stuff, you become part of public domain, and it's,
100%. And
game on.
There wouldn't be TV shows like The Crown if you wouldn't take some liberties with the real story.
That's a good point. Right. And you remember the royal family took some issue with a lot of the storylines, but then again, we'll never really know the real story. I mean, some of the stories in The Crown came from people who were there, and who told their version of the stories. That's all we got. But you know what's really interesting? I don't know if you read this, but Lady Gaga actually lived as she talked with an Italian accent for a long time. Like as she was prepping for the film, she talked with nothing but an Italian accent the entire time she was prepping before she even stepped foot in front of a camera for the first time on the movie set.
That's actor bullshit. That's complete. It's like the guy that played Lincoln you only could address him as Lincoln the whole time. So you can't tell me that wasn't annoying as shit to everybody around her.
Daniel Day-Lewis you're talking about?
Yeah, he was you had to say President Lincoln when you talked to him. That's a douchebag move. You know what? You're playing an actor. You're playing a make-believe game. You can turn it on and turn it off.
Right. Try acting.
Exactly. Then that tells me you're not a good actor. If you got to stay in that persona the whole time, then you're not good at turning it on, turning it off. Go to Broadway and you see those people turn it on and turn it off all day long.
Yes, that's a good point. They don't spend the day as Auntie Mame and then get on stage like they've been Auntie Mame all day.
Exactly. They're not going to McDonald's and ordering something as that person.
Right. That's a very good point.
Because you know what? She writes music. She sings songs. That's what she's good at. She's not first and foremost an actor. She's first and foremost a musician. You know what? You go on stage. Go on stage, do a couple of concerts. That's what you're good at.
You know how we do it.
The Cooper and Anthony Show.
Alan Ruck has done a lot of things in his career. One of them was Cameron on Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
That's what he's best known for certainly our generation, but right now he's in Succession.
See, and that's what some people know him as now, is that guy. But I'm only going to know him as Cameron.
Yeah.
So he was on the Jimmy Kimmel show, and they were talking about Ferris Bueller's Day Off. And I just thought this was interesting. There's 35 years later, we're still talking about this movie.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it's iconic. It's one of those movies.
It's obviously a fantastic movie. How much did you make for that movie? Do you remember?
I do. I made $40,000.
$40,000.
So I'm thinking that's a lot of money for, because he only 3 months out of his life made $40,000. That's good money. Am I wrong?
Yeah. Well, okay. It's more about, you got to think of it this way. The movie made millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars. Just like DVD sales alone, like Ferris Bueller's Day Off is still iconic. It's made, probably, let's look it up. Hang on a second. I'll tell you right now how much it's made. Okay. So that movie has made $173 million.
Wow.
Okay. $173 million. And one of the stars of it only got paid $40,000. That's it. I understand it was a lot of money for him as a young actor at the time, but those are not the salaries anymore. A role like his now in a big budget film, he would get at least $400,000.
So what's the number one question people ask when they run into him on the street about that movie?
Oh, it's probably got to be something about the Porsche, right?
Ferrari, by the way. So.
Oh, Ferrari. Sorry. That's how long it's been since I've seen it. Okay, Ferrari.
He's new.
And what do people ask you about when it comes to that movie most frequently?
They're really worried about the car.
About the car, yeah.
Like, did you really send that beautiful car out the window? And just everybody can relax and breathe a sigh of relief because they were all crap. They were kit cars. We couldn't afford a real Ferrari.
It's one of those you build it on the body of
a Mustang chassis with a fiberglass body, and they were just wretched. They wouldn't start. We did this one scene 16 times because the car would not start. And when we sent that, we had 3 of them, and when we sent that one out the window, the crew cheered. They were
See, I love stories like that you can get somebody that was in a movie like that and get the behind the scenes of the car was actually crap. I have felt bad for 35 years now.
Yeah.
This car, they destroyed this car, but he's saying it's not a bad thing.
Right. I love stories like that where like you go back to old movies and old things and old TV shows and things that are sort of iconic and you find out the real story now. But on the other hand, I like suspending disbelief. Like I like not knowing. I feel like we're living in a time now where there's just way too much information. And every time a celebrity does any kind of promotion for anything, they have to reveal something really personal or secret or revolutionary, just something that's going to get them news or get them. Okay, so like yesterday we talked about how Bradley Cooper just a couple of years ago in 2019 was mugged at knife point in the subway of New York. The more I think about it, the more I'm like, did that really happen, or is he trying to promote his new movie Nightmare Alley? You know what I mean? Like that's how much of it, because that Nightmare Alley, getting mugged, it all sort of fits together. You know, I'm so cynical at this point. Like every time Jennifer Aniston tells me about some crazy thing that happened between her and a guy because the movie is about her and a guy, I'm like, did that really happen, or is that how you're selling the movie?
Take this back. It's the Cooper and Anthony Show.
I have a group of girlfriends who I'd gone to see last week, and I was up in New York. I went to go see. They live in an area of New York called Queens.
What is a strange land called Queens you speak of?
That's disgusting.
Yeah, people have seen The King of Queens. They're familiar with it. It's not like it's an exotic place.
It's an exotic
Let me
place.
tell you about this place called Queens.
It's near this place called
You have to go
Brooklyn.
over the Triborough Bridge.
You know what? Honestly, I'm so used to talking to people from California at this point.
Is that the bridge you go over?
Which one?
The California Bridge?
Triborough or Queensboro or something Borough Bridge you have to go to get to Queens, right?
I think you go over the Queensburg Bridge.
Sweet.
Because it's right in the title.
Nice.
Even people in California have heard of Queens.
Yeah.
No, I'm telling you. Today, I spent the day explaining things to people. It's outside of Charlotte, North Carolina. What's it called? It's a town called Gastonia.
Nobody's heard of Gastonia.
Yeah, Gastonia and Queens are two different things.
Well, Charlotte's huge. People know Charlotte's
People
a major
know Charlotte,
city.
but they don't know Gastonia, but they know Queens.
People didn't know
People
Queens.
in Gastonia don't even know Gastonia.
I'm telling you, people out here in California did not know Queens. They knew Brooklyn.
Well, they know the name Charlotte, but they don't know the state.
You think?
Oh, yeah. That people think, is that in Virginia? No, that's Charlottesville.
Oh.
Is that in Florida? No, that's Port Charlotte.
Idiot.
Well, I said Queens today to somebody, and they had no idea what I was talking about.
Yeah, they're an
Queensland?
idiot.
Was it Queensland?
They're
No,
near-
I think
they're
that's
near-
Australia.
That's in Australia.
Yeah, it's Australia. No, Queens. It's a borough in New York. Never mind. But so I was in Queens.
So you're in the exotic land of Queens.
In the exotic land of Queens, a place we call Queens that you've probably never heard of. And it's this group of girlfriends. They're all from there. They live there. They've been born there.
They talk like they're from there.
They talk like they're from there. And they said there's this great new spa.
Spar? They call it a spar, though, right?
Spa. Yeah. You got to come to the spa. So, when I hear spa, my first thought is, remember when you guys, when the three of us went to that lovely spa?
You think it's luxurious, peaceful?
Yeah. There was beautiful music playing. Anthony and I got facials. You got a massage. Everybody was happy.
Oh, when can we do that again?
I wish when I get back, let's do that. Because
You'll need it.
I'm going to need it desperately.
Yes.
So to me, that's when I think of a spa, that's what I think of. But this is Queens.
Okay.
And it's females only. Or here's what they do. They have certain days of the week that it's women only, which I thought was kind of interesting because I thought...
Ladies' Day at the spa.
Yeah, well, I guess that's nice. You go with a group of girlfriends, and it's not expensive, which really should have tipped me off right there if there was a problem. It was like $40 a person for the whole... You get to use every facility.
All day.
All day. You're not going to stay all day, but... So you first walk in, and there's massage and massage tables, but they look a little shady. It's not that like that lovely place we went with the, lovely. Remember we were there, and it was beautiful and clean, and everybody
Right.
was nice, and everybody smelled good.
But this place was a little bit, kind of reminds you of that Avril Lavigne song.
Which is which? Which song?
So much for my happy ending.
Oh, yeah. Oh, Chad.
Yeah.
Had to go there. But that's what it felt like. It felt a little seedy. So I didn't want to do the massage because, to me, if I'm going to get a massage, I'm going to take off my clothes, I like it to be clean. I'm odd like that.
You don't want to discount massage in Queens. $40. Yeah.
No, I don't.
There's some things you want to pay full price for.
Right. So I figured I paid the money. I'll at least maybe get a manicure, pedicure, $40 for a mani-pedi. At least that's a good deal.
Mm-hmm.
And my friend said, mani-pedi, you can get that everywhere. Why don't you come with us to the baths? Oh, no, they said, why don't you come with us to the baths? So I don't know what a bath is. I know what a bathtub is like in my house. I've never been to a public bath. And it's exactly what you think of when I say public bath. It was disgusting.
It's a big bathtub.
They're like separate bathtubs. There were a couple of them. The ones they went to, 2 girls fit in at a time, and there was a couple of them in a room, and there were strangers in them. And like one girlfriend strips down to her bikini bottom, she's topless, and she dives right in with some stranger.
How big is this bathtub?
It fits 2. It fits 2 people.
So it's like the one at home.
No, but big.
Oh, okay.
No, big. There was plenty of room. It was like a little mini pool kind of thing.
Oh, okay.
Like maybe like a little jacuzzi looked like. She jumps in with a stranger. Oh, topless with some stranger. And then my other girlfriend said, why don't you and I get in this one? I'm nothing doing. I'm not just jumping in there. I don't know who's been in there or what's in there or what kind of fungus I'm going to leave with.
It's like a petri dish.
That's what I thought. If the place was clean and pristine and looked really beautiful, I would have dove right in. But the place itself looked like, it's almost like they say, if you don't know a restaurant and you want to know how clean the kitchen is, go check out the bathroom.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's true or not, but I go do it anyway. Make sure there's soap in the bathroom. No soap in the bathroom, the people in the kitchen are not washing their hands.
Right,
That's what I always
go.
figured.
Right.
Yeah, I'm leaving. So I figured I would judge how clean these tubs are based on how clean the place is, which was not so much. You get what you pay for in Queens.
Yeah.
So I said, I'm just going to have the mani-pedi. I feel safe in there in that little... So I had them, and even there, as she's doing the pedicure, I'm thinking, I'm going to get some sort of foot fungus.
Because don't they use fresh water in the little hoochie berg that they put your feet in? Yeah.
And they're supposed to clean it. They did. I watched the lady spray it and clean it. I thought, okay, at least she's cleaning this. And I was thinking of the toenail gunk guy, that little monster guy who crawls under the toe.
Right.
So as she's doing my toes, I'm thinking, yeah, I'm going to have to get the monster guy stuff.
Paula Abdul got a manicure and something happened, some fungus or something, and that's why she says she, quote, takes pills.
That's right.
Because of that.
I'm going to end up like Paula Abdul.
Right, and you probably went to the same place she did.
And I'm going to end up talking like her and being loopy.
Oh, how that would be so entertaining.
You'd love it.
Yeah, ratings would go through the roof.
Chad Bauer, you're so Chad Bauer.
Yes. So it was disgusting, is what you're saying.
It was disgusting. And the disgusting part was that my friends had no qualms about jumping right in.
Well, Saturday, we had this great idea because it's one of the last days of this water park that's open during the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And we have passes to go. So we said, hey, let's go Saturday or Sunday. We decided to go Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
So we went Saturday, and we get there at this water park, and it is packed to the brim with people.
Was it a beautiful day? Is that why?
It's a beautiful day, and it's one of the last days before school starts.
Right.
It's out of control how many people are there. So they have a brand new wave pool, which is, I don't know, a gazillion gallons.
Mm-hmm.
And we're walking up to the wave pool, and there's no way you can swim. You can't swim in it. You just have to stand in one place.
Everybody looks like croutons just floating in soup.
Right. It does. It looks like soup. So we're here. We might as well go. And so we went in the pool and did all that. But when you come out, you're sticky.
Ew.
And when you're in there the whole time, you're like, yeah,
You're like,
it's like
what's
soup.
on me?
Right. And people peeing in there, and they haven't taken showers, and it is
Oh, that's
gross.
disgusting. But you did it anyway?
You have to. When you have kids, you have to go in the pool.
This is a guy that anytime he even leaves the studio to come back, he douses his hands in
Purell.
hand sanitizer.
Yeah, right.
And he's going in this community soup of germs and infection and
Can't
fungus.
believe you did that. I really can't believe you did it. And I'm still checking my toes for fungus.
Right.
I'm sure I did something to myself.
You better buy some tough actin Tinactin.
Oh, I really need to.
But I didn't go in one pool. I went into many pools.
No.
Yeah, I didn't learn my lesson. Bare feet. Oh, yeah.
You didn't have flip-flops.
Oh, no. You get in a pool? No.
I'm glad I'm not there, because whatever germs you're carrying around, you can go breathe on Chad.
I mean, it's just, and when you're driving home, you can't move because you're all sticky.
Ew.
I can't believe we did it.
And you're
I
thinking about
cannot
all the
believe it.
poo all over you. Ew. Are you bathing in Purell every day?
Yeah. See, my wife didn't even go in at all.
Smart woman.
Yeah, there's no way I'm getting in there.
I
Your
wouldn't.
your kids were probably drinking the water. They didn't care.
Oh yeah, they get up and they're burping because it's,
They're doing the thing where look at me, I'm a whale. They're spouting the water.
I'm telling you, you couldn't swim. That's how packed it was. I mean, it was elbow to elbow in this wave pool, and then the waves come and it just stirs up all the funk in the pool.
Ew. And there was adults and children in there?
Was there a ring?
Yeah.
Was there like
everybody was
a
peeing
ring
there.
around the
Oh,
side,
gross.
like it was
yeah.
in a tub?
Yuck. That's disgusting. I don't even know what was floating around in there other than people.
Yeah, can you imagine?
Oh, okay. So what did you do that was disgusting, and you can't believe you did it? It was afterwards. You went, "That was so gross. I can't believe I did it." 877-6-Cooper.
Well, anytime I go into the men's room at a concert, I'm wondering, wow, I should have just worn a diaper. It is so disgusting in there.
Because
the floor is always
Chad.
the floor is always soaking wet,
yeah.
and you don't know if it's from the sink or from the. You don't know what's on the floor.
And
You're just
what
like,
about the
squish,
smell?
Squish, squish.
What about the smell of that place?
Horrible smell, and because they serve alcohol at these things, and and there's some people in the stalls getting sick. It's like,
Oh, gross.
why am I in here?
Oh.
Well, see, that was this place too because I dressed when I got there because they have a place where you can dress, but it's not a dressing area. It's just the bathroom. So you're in a stall and the whole floor is just
sticky and gross.
Yeah, I don't know why I didn't turn around then.
Why on earth did you go in there? Why did you?
I don't know. I mean, the minute because we drove I mean, it's not like it's right down the street. We drove there, then you have to park, and you have to walk through the whole park to get to it.
So you feel like you went that far, you had to go in.
You might as well just there's no way we could have said, kids, we're going home now. You can't do that because you're there.
But it's not sanitary.
It doesn't matter.
You might have poisoned your whole family.
I might have, but they had fun. That's all that matters.
All right, so what did you say that was so disgusting? I can't believe I just did that. 877-6-Cooper. Hey, Chuck.
Hey, gorgeous. How are you?
Yeah, I love you. Because I'm not gorgeous in L.A. I'm only gorgeous on the radio.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so what did you do that was just gross, but you did it anyway?
Well, when I was 15, I worked on the maintenance crew at our local community college, and on the campus grounds, they had a couple of old barns that had been converted into classrooms, tin roof barns, and they had a pigeon infestation problem. So the Muskie Mucks decided that we would rid ourselves of these pigeons, so we strung chicken wire around the outside of the eaves where they were coming in, and then me and the rest of the crew crawled up in this attic on a 90-degree day in the middle of summer and crawled on our hands and knees for about 4 inches of pigeon poop and faked those suckers into the corner and caught them with our hands.
Oh, God.
All for, I think it was about $1.65 an hour I was making for this.
I would never stop showering.
Yeah, I haven't complained about any job I've had since.
I'll bet. Oh, God.
Wow.
Wow,
For
Chuck.
$1.65 too, on top of that. And that wasn't even a whole hour probably, so you didn't even make that much money.
No, so I don't want to hear teenagers complain about flipping burgers. They don't know how easy they've got it.
Exactly. That's a gift. Flip a burger, way better than cleaning pigeon poo.
Yes, it is.
Or crawling around
Crawling
pigeon
in
poo.
it on your hands and knees.
Yeah. Thank you, Chuck. Thank you. Yeah, everybody, you've had that moment where you're doing something, it's so disgusting, and you're just, there you are, you're in it.
Yep.
So gross, can't believe you're there. 877-6-Cooper. Hi, Nick.
Hi.
Nick, what'd you do that was so gross you can't believe you did it?
Well, actually, I was in ministry school, and they had us go to a strange restaurant and show them a slip of paper that was in a foreign language.
Mm-hmm.
And on this piece of paper, we didn't realize, but one of the things that we were asked to eat and didn't realize was chicken feet.
No.
Yes. So
how do they prepare chicken feet?
They didn't even have it there. We had to go down to a special market and get it from these people that didn't even speak English. Yeah, it was in a bag. It was just a bag full of chicken feet. We were told that people actually eat it raw. But,
what?
Yeah, it was. We were lucky enough to have them cook it for us. We're not quite sure what they did to it, but it was by far the worst smell and taste I've ever
The grossest thing you ever ate.
experienced. Yes.
And yet you did it. How come?
Well, the lesson behind it was to kind of prepare us for ministry and going to other countries and having to, eat something that we wouldn't normally eat. So there we were.
But we ate chicken legs and everything else.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
If you eat the legs, you might as well eat the feet.
It's a part of the chicken that we just don't normally eat.
Yeah, you would think so, but when you actually have it there in front of you and to see it and smell it, and there's not really much meat there. It's
What if it's extra crispy?
And they've been
chicken
walking through the poo all the time with those feet.
Yeah.
So, Nick, if you go to a foreign country, why can't you just bring granola bars with you?
That would be nice.
Must you eat the local flavor everywhere you go?
But, Chad, if it's extra crispy, you would eat it.
No, I'm not eating beaks and I'm not eating feet.
Extra crispy beaks?
No.
No. Just certain parts of the chicken.
Eating breasts.
And thighs.
Yes. And chicken, too.
Oh, Chad.
He's out of control
He
tonight.
must be out of control. It's because I'm not there.
The Avril Lavigne song and that?
I know. He's what is
What? That just mentioned a song and your dirty mind went somewhere else.
I got to tell you, I think Chad's trying to tell us something.
I know.
I think he's got a little issue. Hi, Amy.
A little.
Hi.
There's nothing little about it.
Would you stop it, Chad? Oh, my God. It's the porn channel all of a sudden. I'm sorry, Amy. I'm sorry you had to hear that.
Well, this is kind of along that avenue.
Oh, no.
I worked for a group home with mentally delayed adults about 20 years ago.
Right.
And one of my clients had surgery, and the nurses didn't want to hang around, so they went ahead and dismissed him before he had gone to the bathroom.
Mm-hmm.
So that night he was crying. He had to go to the bathroom, so they had taken him to the emergency room, and they had to catheterize him. Well, they were running short-handed, and the tech was starting to catheterize him, put the tube in his,
Yeah.
Anyways, he had to get something. He was all, here, hold this. So I had to hold it for him with the tube, and then he comes back, and he has me help start pushing the tube down in it, and then it seized up, and so he goes, here, rub it like this to help get it relaxed.
Yeah.
Put the tube in it.
Yeah.
And stuff, and I'm just like, this is not on my job description.
Oh, God. And it was so disgusting, but yet you did it anyway.
Well, yeah, I kind of had to.
Wow.
And stuff, so, but yeah, that was kind of an experience.
That was brave, Amy.
Yeah, it was different, so.
Yeah.
Kind of gross.
Just a little different and very gross. Wow. Oh, man. Did you just cringe and grab something?
No comment, Chad?
All of a sudden you turned Chad right off.
Well, on the phone she had to explain to me where you put that in.
You didn't know?
You had her describe it to you? You're a sick man.
No, she said, I said, well, what's
You don't know where it goes?
Yeah, I didn't. I'm not a doctor.
Okay.
How can you go through life and not know?
I know what a catheter is and where it goes.
I know what a catheter is, but can't you
don't
put
know
them
where
in
it
different
goes.
places?
No, it goes, well.
Where else would it go, Chad?
I don't know.
Where
I'm not
else
a
would it
doctor.
go? How many other places could you put it?
It doesn't go in the same place on men and women, but it goes in the same place on men.
Right.
Oh, God. Hey, Krista.
Hey.
I'm sorry. Now, Krista, what's something really gross that you had to do and looking back, you can't believe you did it?
Well, I lived in Ecuador for a few years. That's not the gross thing. But the bathrooms there the public bathrooms were always not so good experiences. But the worst one was at the Catholic university I went to. Nice university, one of the best in the city. But let's see. In Ecuador, you can't put toilet paper down the toilet, so it usually goes in a wastebasket.
Oh, no.
Okay, but it gets worse. Because in this bathroom at the Catholic University, it was the women's bathroom, and there were no wastebaskets, so the toilet paper went on the floor.
Oh, gosh.
And it was a women's bathroom, so it wasn't just toilet paper.
Oh, no.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Oh.
And looking back, you can't believe that you went through that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Appreciate the bathrooms here.
Yeah. Even the dirty ones.
Exactly.
You're like, as long as it flushes.
Yeah.
Oh, God, Krista, poor you.
Wow.
Well, thank you, Krista. Thank you.
Oh, my goodness.
All right, I need
I'm
to
done.
lay down.